Hello there guys, welcome back to another video on the BMW 650i, and we're going to be giving this thing a full service today. Before we get into things though, do me a massive favour, hit that thumbs up button. It really does help me out and it lets me know that you want to see more videos on this car. Let's try and aim for 1,000 likes on this video. Now then, let's get into things. Exactly what are we going to be doing today? So we're going to be giving the engine an oil and filter change. We're going to be swapping out the cabin air filters. We're going to be replacing the engine air filter, and we're also going to be doing all 8 of the spark plugs as well. So then here is all the parts that we're going to be using today. This service kit is courtesy of the Car Parts Shop. If you want to get yourself a service kit, maybe you want to get yourself this service kit in particular, there will be all of the details down in that description box below. So then what do we have here? We have 8 litres of this Castrol 5W30 oil. We have the 2 cabin air filters. These are the Bosch charcoal filters. We have a Bosch engine air filter. We have a MAN engine oil filter. We also have a new drain plug and washer as well, which is nice. We have 8 Bosch spark plugs and then some Castrol brake cleaner as well, just to give things a good tidy up. So the car is already up in the air. I'm going to get the engine fired up, get some heat into that engine, get that engine oil nice and warm just so it drains a lot better. Now while I wait for some temperature to get into the engine, I'm just going to go ahead and get all my tools ready. Okay, so there should be some good heat in the engine now. We'll switch it off and we can begin draining the oil. Okay, so the engine oil drain plug itself takes an 8mm Allen key or Allen socket. So I'm going to try and not get this all down my arm. It is a bit windy, so I have a feeling this is going to make a bit of a mess, but right, bombs away. I'll just let that drain away now. And I can also drain the oil filter itself as well. It takes a 6mm Allen bolt. You get a good ½ litre out of the oil filter. And while I just let both of them drain away and get started in the engine bay, so I'm going to get both of the cabin air filter boxes removed and also the engine air filter box. So to remove the cabin air filter box is very easy. Should just be a plastic 13mm nut. Just turn that quarter of a turn. And there will be this lever that you have to slide back. Just push down on the box itself, slide that lever back, and you should be able to lift off. On this side we have the AUC sensor and the bonnet release sensor. So just disconnect both of those. And that's this side removed. Lift that one out as well. Now the filters themselves, they don't appear to be too bad. Now if you look closely, there is quite a bit of pollen stuck in them, so obviously they have done their job, but we're going to be swapping them out today. First of all though, just going to give this scuttle pan a bit of a vacuum out. It's an area that likes to attract leaves and whatever else, but I'm going to give this a good vacuum out before I get the new filters installed. Now we can remove the cabin air filters themselves. They should just pop out, like so. Now if we get our new Bosch filters, we can get these installed. Now they can only go in one way. Just make sure that the direction of the airflow is pointing into the car. So bear in mind, cabin air filter boxes sit like that, and you want the airflow to go through the air filter and then down into the heater. So airflow needs to go in that direction. So through the filter, down into the heating system. Slide in nice and easy. secure that clip, and just turn that plastic nut 90 degrees back. Do the same on this other one. There we are. Get this reinstalled. And again, that securing clip, plastic nut, and then get these two sensors plugged back in. There we are. That's the 2 cabin air filters swapped out already. And now coming back underneath the car, that oil should have finished draining by now. And now I've just temporarily reinstalled the drain plug on the oil filter. Obviously we still need to remove the oil filter, but I'm going to install our new drain plug and crush washer to the oil pan. Then we can torque down that drain plug to 25 Newton meters. There we are. And we can proceed in removing the oil filter canister, which takes a 24mm socket. And we can remove that fully with the oil filter still attached, which is always good. Okay, so I've removed the oil filter itself. Absolutely nothing to report on that. This thing is spotless. It's a genuine MAN filter as well, which is what BMW use in their workshops. I've gave the oil filter canister a good clean out with the brake cleaner. I've also removed the oil filter drain plug, gave that a good clean. Just need to get the new seals installed now. This is for the oil filter canister itself, then the smaller O-ring, that's for the oil filter drain plug. Obviously there's a copper washer in there as well, but we've already installed that along with the new oil drain plug. There we are, that's that oil filter drain plug with new O-ring. Installed the new sealing ring to the oil filter canister, new oil filter itself reinstalled, should just click in. So I'll get this reinstalled into the bottom and let's get this back onto the engine. Now it's not necessary to do so, but because I can, I may as well. I've just pre-filled the oil filter. It's just basically going to prevent any kind of dry start. And with the oil filter now reinstalled, I can also torque that down to 25 Newton meters. There we are. Don't go crazy on this thing. It is only plastic, you will crack it if you over torque it. And then the oil filter drain plug, that can be torqued down to just 10 Newton meters. There we are. And now again, I've just gave the bottom of the engine a good clean with the brake cleaner. It just means that I can spot any potential leaks in the future. Now then, I'm going to add the oil now, just so I don't forget later on. I'm going to add around 7 litres, so this entire 5 litre container, then a further 2 litres, and will probably be good to start it then. I think these engines take between 7 and 8 litres. The thing I like about these engines is the timing chain is literally underneath the oil cap, so whenever you're adding oil, you're literally pouring oil straight onto the timing chain, so it's never going to run dry. So in total that should be around 7 litres in there. Now I'm just going to check on the physical dipstick. The car is level, by the way. Obviously you have to take your engine oil reading when the car is level. Now that's actually on the just past the midway point, so yeah, we're good to start it. At the end I'll run the engine up and then let the oil settle again, and then I'll add more oil accordingly. So we'll get the oil cap reinstalled. Right then, let's get on to removing the air filter, and I'm going to remove the air box completely as well, just because it's going to give a little bit better access to this bank of spark plugs. So the air filter itself just looks like it's held in by these clips. So I'm just going to pry open all these clips. Will this lift up? Yeah. We get the air filter out. Not a whole lot in the air filter. It looks brown, but I think that's the colour that it's supposed to be. Do we have a year on it? Okay, it's genuine BMW, 2014. Surely that's not been in there for what, 11 years at this point? I mean, there's not much in it. Maybe it's just an old part. I don't know, but yeah, definitely need swapping out anyway. Yeah, there's some leaves and detritus at the bottom of the air filter box. Right, let's get the mass airflow sensor disconnected. Okay, so there's these 4 tabs on this cover. You just pry them up and this will open up. It's just basically just to protect the mass airflow sensor wiring from any water and whatever. If I push this in, should be able to disconnect it like so. Just a Jubilee clamp. And this should pull out. There we are. And now to remove the bottom section of the cabin air filter box, looks like just 2 T30 bolts. And with those 2 bolts removed, this should just lift out now. Just need to push in the tab on the snorkel. There we go, that's the air filter box removed. So much more room for activities now. Just going to give this area a good vacuum out. There's some leaves in there. And now we can get the main engine cover removed, which is just 4 10mm nuts. And with all 4 nuts removed, this should just lift off. Yep, very well insulated, this engine cover. Probably why this engine's so quiet. Right, so I'm going to do this bank of spark plugs first. We need to remove this ignition coil cover. It should just lift off. It's held in by a couple of pins. There we are. Is that removed? No, it's definitely going to be fun trying to get to that back spark plug. So holding the ignition coils in place are these brackets. There's one there holding the front 2 in place, and then one there holding the back 2 in place. Just a E-Torx bolt. So these bolts take an E6 socket. And that's the rear one removed. Now the ignition coils themselves, you should just be able to lift up the tab. Slide the electrical connector off. And the ignition coil should just pull out. There we are. That's one removed. Still looks like it's in good shape. This one actually is dated 2011. It's obviously been replaced at some point. This one has the exact same date in them. I wonder if they've all been replaced at some point. These are going to be the front ones. Yeah, same date, 2011. They've all been replaced, these have. Now that's definitely going to get caught on that main power cable. So I'm just going to remove this little 10mm plastic nut. Looks like a plastic nut. Could be a steel nut actually. Holding this mains power cable in place. And it'll just give me a little bit more wiggle room then. I know for sure once I pop that up it's just going to foul on that. Yeah, no, that's right. It is just a plastic nut holding that cable in place. Should just be able to wiggle that out of the way now to get onto the ignition coil. Ah, there we go. That's that rear one removed. Hopefully it's going to be a slight bit easier to get the spark plug out. Looking down into the spark plug wells though, looks perfectly clean down there. It's the same across the board. That must mean that the rocker cover gasket's still doing its thing, which is good. Like I said, I've noticed 0 leaks with this engine, and I'm very impressed. So I'm pretty sure these spark plugs take a 16mm socket. It seems to be pretty tight on there. I think these have been done not too long ago. I'm sure I've seen somewhere in the service records that they were done a few years ago, not much mileage, so it'll be interesting to see what the plugs themselves look like. Now, I'm not worried in any case. You know, I'm sure this is a healthy engine. I'm going to need a magnet to retrieve it. Yeah, spark plug looks absolutely fine. No soot on there. It's not running lean or anything. They look perfect. Yeah, these are the factory Bosch. See, Bosch BMW. These are the ones that are used from factory, and I would say these are the exact same replacement ones that we have as well. Yeah, the replacement ones that we have are the exact same part number, ending in 332. As you can see, Bosch R6, double platinum. Obviously they look slightly different. This is the updated version, I suppose. But yeah, perfect spark plugs for this engine. Right, I think I'm gonna get all 8 removed, because I don't imagine you want to see me removing every individual plug. I'm sure I'm going to have to do some jiggery pokery to get the back 2 removed on both sides, but yeah, I want to have all 8 removed. I'll show you what they look like, and then we get the new ones installed. Okay, so all 8 spark plugs, 4 on either bank, now all removed, and I've actually went ahead and installed the new ones as well. Yes, definitely the rearmost spark plugs on either side, both pretty difficult to remove the ignition coils and also install the new spark plugs. It will definitely help you if you have a combination of different lengths extensions, and maybe 1 or 2 adapters as well, just so you can kind of build them all up, because obviously if you try to get a long extension directly in there, you won't be able to do it. You probably have to drop the spark plug socket in, drop another extension in, drop another extension into that, and then maybe an extension as well, and then you can get a ratchet on there to crack it loose. But like I said, I've already installed all 8 of the new spark plugs, and I've torqued them down to 28 Newton meters. And I'll just show you exactly what the original 8 look like. Yep, all these have been replaced at the same time. You can see they're all genuine Bosch BMW plugs, and they all look the exact same. So yeah, definitely means we have a healthy engine. All the ignition coils as well, they all match. They've all been replaced. They're all dated 2011. So I'm going to get all these ignition coils back reinstalled onto the engine, and then we can start getting all the covers back and then finish up with the air filter. Okay, so obviously all the ignition coils back in place, all the engine covers now back in place. I tightened down the 4 nuts. Got the bottom of the airbox back in place after giving it a good clean out. That is now spotless. We'll get our nice new shiny Bosch air filter and drop that into place. And then we can get the air filter box lid reinstalled. And there we go, that should be the new air filter installed. Of course, just need to reinstall the MAF sensor and get this little cover back on it as well. There we are, and that should be us now pretty much done. All we need to do now is top up the oil level to the max mark, and we can get the engine fired up and just make sure we don't have any issues, make sure there's no misfires or any engine oil leaks from below. Okay, so I've actually added the entirety of this other litre, says 8 litres in total. Dipstick's now showing on the max mark, so I'm now ready to fire this engine up. Now I just fired the engine up. Sounds absolutely sweet still. No misfires. And no leaks from below. Perfect. Okay then, so there we go. Service done on the BMW 650i. Engine oil and filter, cabin filters, engine air filter, and of course all 8 spark plugs as well. I want to thank you all for watching this video. Remember, if you want to get yourself a service kit for your car, there will be some links down in that description box below, so feel free to check them out. Like I said, thanks for watching. Remember to give this video a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you have not already done so, and I will see you all in that next one.